Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well and you're ready to look at more of the 2018 Cayley contest. We're looking at question 16 now in this video, so if you're looking for any of the other questions, we've already done 1 through 15. You can take a look for those on the channel. Of course, coming up will be things like 17, 18, and of course all of part C. But right now we are just focusing in on question 16. So let's take a look. A ladder has 5 rungs. Elizabeth can climb up by 1 or 2 rungs at a time. In how many different ways can she climb up to the 5th rung of the ladder? Right away, I think Fibonacci numbers, so I'm going to guess the answer is 8. And the reason I'm going to guess Fibonacci numbers is because I've been doing math for a while, let's just say that. And I remember there was a book. Do I have it amongst my... Yeah, there he is. It's a book called Mathematical Mosaic. I really like it. It's a good book by a fellow named Ravi Vakil. And let me just, while I'm talking, see if I can find it. But it was, I remember there was a question about, and obviously I'm aware you don't get to have books with you when you're doing the contest. But I do remember, yeah, there's a little, there we go. A light can sort of mess with that. But there was this elf, I believe his name was Elvis. And he could walk downstairs. Nice little picture here of Elvis. There. He could walk downstairs. He could walk down 1 step or 2 steps at a time. And I remember that this turned into the Fibonacci sequence. So, you know, if you take an interest in reading math or doing lots of math contests, you start to notice the same interesting patterns or descriptions of those patterns over and over again. So immediately I'm already thinking Fibonacci numbers just because of prior experience. And the point of this sort of mini story is not look at me and how smart I am. It's more if you get involved, if you read, if you look around, you never know what's going to come back and save you. Yeah, it's question 16 on a Cayley right now, but you know, next time it's that one thing you picked up in that 1970s geometry book that, oh wow, the entire Euclid 10 is based off of this. Okay? So, you know, it's a story of payback, I guess. If you get interested in the material, you'll never know when it's going to come back and help you out. Anyway, so I'm throwing out my prediction 8 just because it's the only Fibonacci number that I can see here. But, incidentally, the Fibonacci numbers is a nice little sequence. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. You get each term by adding the 2 previous terms. Okay? But let's approach this without a Fibonacci assumption or anything like that. How would I actually do the question? If I hadn't read about Elvis, if I hadn't owned a copy of Mathematical Mosaic, I think I even have a signed copy. Yes, I do. Because Ravi Vakil stopped by our local university to give a talk about Hardy Littlewood numbers, if I recall correctly. It's 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly. But we've got 5 rungs to the ladder. Now, 5 is a very small number, and the way that it's Elizabeth, right? Elizabeth. The way that Elizabeth is moving from among these rungs is very, very basic. So what I would probably do is just sort of try and count the number of ways. Now, if you are not careful and you just start listing possibilities, you can very easily miss one. So I want to be sort of as careful as possible. I'm going to use 1s as much as I can. Okay, and I'll only use 2s to try and vary it up and make it different from previous patterns. And that's going to be my strategy. So she could just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or she could go 1, 2. Now, if she goes 3, she'll have to go 4, and that'll just repeat my previous pattern. So instead, it'll be a 2. Okay. Or she could go 1, 2, 3. Or she could go 1, 2, 3. Okay. Or she could go 1, 2. We do have 5 rungs. I think I've run out of patterns, so I think I'm misinterpreting the question. Incidentally, I've got 5, which is the Fibonacci number just before 8. So I'm inclined to think that there's sort of a ground, and she's climbing up to the first rung rather than starting at the first rung. So, having not gotten any of their potential answers, I have to reevaluate, am I interpreting the question properly? And I realize, no, I'm sort of moving from the first rung to the fifth rung, but maybe Elizabeth is not starting at the first rung, as I would naturally assume when you're climbing on a ladder. But, okay, so now we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, I guess, together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll notice here I've got it sort of very methodically. I'm just using a single 2 jump, and it's just being moved further down towards the bottom when she does that. Okay, and now we've got a total of 5 here. And now, what else could we have? Well, we could have just 1, and then 2, 3 in a big jump, and 4, 5 in a big jump. Or we could have 1, 2, little jump, 3, 4, 5. Or we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a little 5. And that gives us our remaining 3 for 8. So 8 is going to be our answer, and we're looking at 0 2 jumps, 1 2 rung jump, and then 2 2 rung jumps, and you can't have more than that. So we're being very methodical in the way that we're counting these out. No pattern is repeated, and I'm confident that I haven't missed anything. So I'm happy with the 8. Now, where does the Fibonacci sequence actually come into this? So if climbing to the nth rung is, I don't know, Fn, we won't actually say that these are Fibonacci numbers, then to climb to the n plus second rung is to either climb to the n plus first rung and then go up 1, because she's allowed to move up from one rung to the immediate next, or climb to the nth rung and go up 2. And these are the only 2 possibilities. This one is Fn plus 1 ways to reach the n plus first rung, and Fn ways to reach the nth rung, and then afterwards you are completely prescribed as to what your next step is. So this tells me that Fn plus 2 is Fn plus 1 plus the ways to get Fn. And that's exactly the definition of the Fibonacci sequence. So if you're familiar with the Fibonacci sequence, that's exactly how it fits in. It's a wonderful sequence to discover in case you don't know about it. In fact, I'll even write down the actual name of the sequence. So the Fibonacci sequence is a wonderful sequence. It pops up all the time in various contests, and it's something to really learn about. It's quite a fun sequence as well. I know, a lot of you will probably have seen it, but for those of you where this is a brand new idea, this is something I would seriously recommend looking into, just like if you've never seen the Pythagorean theorem before, or Pythagorean triples, I would seriously recommend looking into those. But either way, our answer of E8 is finished. We actually finished quite a while ago, and probably could have been a lot shorter if I hadn't grabbed a book, but that's okay. We're here to learn and have fun. Upwards and onwards to question number 17 we go. I'll see you for that in the next video. Thanks for watching.